Hello YouTube! How is everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing great. Um, okay, let me quickly check where we are. Yep, I think that this is the last save. Pretty sure this is the last save. So we're gonna just leave that there for now. I don't think there's anything else to to immediately do. This was set to not fire at anything, which is great. Right. So let's see what is happening here. We're beginning to have a bit of a buffer when it comes to yellow science. We're actually at full capacity, not that we could upgrade further. And I think that the first order of business is actually gonna be to... Yeah, let's get purple science up and running. This is probably gonna be decommed, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Right now the priority is going to be to set up a small production facility here. That one is fully dead. We're not consuming that many resources anymore. We don't need to proliferate that much. Let me see. I'm gonna use this very small trick to actually level off this with minimal resource costs. This will, as you can see, not put foundation everywhere, but still level everything off. So let's walk backwards. Do I have the labs? I do not have the labs because I do not have the iron. I think I took a bit too much, but should be fine. I'll keep researching with just a stack. I don't think the main income is gonna come from the farm. I don't think we're gonna need more than this. This is one of the downsides of not having that many resources. Still, we should hopefully be fine. Let's leave a bit of a buffer here. So this is gonna come in like this. We are gonna be importing the purple information matrices. Let's actually give set this into requester mode. happening here. This is set to priority. This is low on resources. We have a few more nodes here. I'm kind of tired though of having so many belts. So did I finish setting this one up? Yes, I did. I'm not gonna proliferate here, I'm just gonna proliferate where I'm building. And this build that we're starting off with is actually gonna be a very simple one. Hopefully it's gonna be on this side, not on the other side. So this is another intermediary stage that we're going through until we can actually do the final build. Now I want to make sure that I have at least a bit of a buffer here. Yeah, let's go with this line. This should give me a bit of a buffer to potentially expand some of these chests. And let's start over here. So we're gonna have input, output, and a bit of construction over here. We're gonna use drones to shift resources around. And, well, I'm gonna try to use as much of the space as possible. Something is full. And you know what? So if I take this, can I put it somewhere where it's not gonna be in the way? Most likely not, so I'll just delete this completely. Not gonna use any of those anymore. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do that is... did I put that too close? Of course I did. That one over here, this one over here. Let's change this to take in copper. I shouldn't have any more bot issues, to be honest, or I really hope. But I think that this will take care of my copper issues. This will stop using raw copper. Am I using copper anywhere else? I don't think I am. Which is a bit of a dilemma, but yeah, I do think I'll be using more copper than I'm producing right now. I'm gonna be using some more copper over here, but not right now. Getting back to the important bits. So the plan is quite simple. There's gonna be a loading unloading area over here. This will use every single lane available. I purposely made this one here because it's just gonna be the labs, so I can use this space freely. And basically this is that's not great. This one's here, this one's here. So this will use the space at maximum. I need to leave this space in here so that the chests will fit. Let's put the logistic hats as well. Not the bots, I want the hats. My bad. Let's make this like this. We want to fully fetch. Okay. Let's also, I'm gonna blueprint this. We can use a power pole over here. And there's one more thing I want to place in the blueprint, that is you know what? We have plenty of space. It shouldn't be an issue. I was wondering if I should make anything special here to not waste this much room, but in the end it shouldn't matter. Reverse path here, so this is basically a repeatable pattern I can use for everything. I'll have 5 inputs, which I believe is the max I'm gonna need for anything. 1 output. There's gonna be some proliferator drone delivering here. Let's call this drone stage. Sure. Not the greatest name, but hopefully I'll remember. Let's go with the 2 by 2 this layout. And what do I want to do? I want to put assembly machine as a generic builder type of icon. Hopefully that's gonna remind me of what this is meant to be doing. And I'm looking oh, there we go, logistic bots. Now this is compressible by a bit more, but I don't see how I would power everything else if I do that, so let's go with this. Sorry about that. To take a very brief break. Okay. I really want to kick this one off, so we're gonna start off with a very small setup over here. This one can be anywhere, doesn't really matter. We're gonna be importing proliferator. Requester hat is on, we're requesting. Did I put that power pole right? I did put that power pole right in the center, so I'll need to rebuild that that blueprint. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm gonna need vertical broadband. I'm gonna need it is processors, and I can even fetch some. That's impressive. I will, however, cut that one off for now. Okay, over here I actually do have a chest. The only thing left to do is actually to provide here. Setup should be fairly easy as soon as I remember where I've left the labs. This one will have to move slightly because, well, inputs and outputs I can compress, but the actual build, the buildings might be varying on size. Now, if I were smart, I would have put the processors on the other side. I'll just use a very fast inserter and that should be fine though. Now I probably have way too much proliferator in my inventory. Output is gonna look like this. And fairly soon we'll have our first universe information matrix. There we go, first one build. This is a provider. Even have a bit of buffer here. Obviously not gonna get me all that far, but still should be able to cover a fair bit. So one thing I'm gonna do here is I'm actually gonna copy, I think, this build. And the reason I wanted to copy was to be able to automatically get the setup and be able to copy paste foundation. Get iron over here, so Iron will now be primarily feeding from, not from my local iron supplies, but from the farm. And let's get oxygen in hydrogen into the mix. Well, obviously not like that. Okay, so hydrogen, west, gas filter. I should have hats on everything. If I don't, that means that oh, did I already set? Okay, I need to redo this this blueprint. I was wondering if I already set up and totally forgot. Yeah, I already set the hydrogen. Very proud of myself. Very good thing to do. Now, processors. Do I have any sort of processors over here? No, I do not. Let's fix the blueprint, I guess, first and foremost. Where is the blueprint? Am I missing something? Okay. That is extremely strange. Not sure why it didn't save. Well, I did say I wanted to rebuild, so not that big of a deal. This time let's make sure I do it properly. And this is actually the correct place. Can I put it there? There's a joke in there somewhere. That I don't think I want to do right now. And the answer is one you'd expect, which is a definite no. Anyway, gonna be a provider and will not have drones. I'll leave the power connection afterwards. So let's try again. Maybe I just did use now and I did never hit the save button. Let's keep the naming convention the same. I'll use the same to do with this one and okay, this time I want to actually make sure that it is saved. Yeah, I probably just hit the use now button. And the reason why I said I'm gonna leave the power poles last is because I'm always or almost always gonna have space here to add power poles, or maybe somewhere where I can power everything up. And I'm not gonna do anything too fancy. I don't know how many resources I'll actually get, so I wanted to do 3, but you know what? Let's go ahead and do 3. What do I want to build here? I want to build processors. What's the crafting speed here? Oh, this will not be enough. I think I need to do it like this. Okay, I'm pressing the wrong keys. It's better. I'll just proliferate everything for now. We're gonna consume circuits, we're gonna consume microcrystalline components, and we're gonna produce chips. Particle broadbands is a totally different discussion. I'm not gonna start building those just yet. I'll leave that as a bottleneck. We have a few left. We're already full of grating crystals. What did I want to pick up? I wanted to pick something up from here. Yes. Oh wow. It sure is nice to have a working farm. So in the meantime, let's set up some oil extractors and until I manage to get some CPUs going. I could look at using some of the silicon and copper to build microcrystalline components. That's not what I want to do. I want to just look at the recipe. And actually I don't want to look at the recipe for microcrystalline components, but I want to see where this is used in. Crystal silicon, yep, crystal silicon. We're using it in microcrystalline components. And that one is irrelevant. This one is only used in processors, as I remember correctly. This one is used in accumulators, which can be considered a pseudo resource. And also in particle broadbands. Particle broadbands are used exclusively in information matrices, I believe, for now, with the technology I have unlocked. Pretty sure that these are used somewhere else as well. While that's happening, let's jump over to this side. I want to set up some logistic drones, for which I should have a fair amount of resources. And I'm building logistic drones. Gas filter, it's a provider. I'm not gonna put drones in there just yet. And this one, you know what, let's get this one going. So I'm gonna request conveyor belts, and I'm gonna request magnetic turbines, electromagnetic turbines. Tier 2 belt. What do I need for tier 3? Tier 3 is a bit more expensive. This is extremely expensive, but I kind of want to actually get that one going. Belts, carbon, and super magnetic rings. I should have a decent supply of everything now, at least enough to make one stack of belts. The one thing I'm gonna be in short supply is gonna be the processors. That was what I was looking for. And I guess I'll just jump straight to this tier of this tier of belts. Do I want to get anything going right now urgently? I don't think I do. Maybe the sorters. Although I'm not that convinced yet. Did I set the wrong belt here? Yes, I did. Yes, I did set the wrong belt. Let's set the right belt. And I guess with this, I can completely remove that and free up a bit of my inventory space. Okay, so that's building, that's gonna provide matrices here, yes. We have a couple of hundred matrices built, which is really nice. I can go ahead and steal some chips from over there. Let's see, can I make a bit more room in my inventory? Okay, how am I doing with power? Not ideal, but it's not the worst. Actually, let's put that over here. Collide with other object. Of course you do. Maybe over here? This looks good. We're gonna set up a bare minimum . I actually have some drones to put in here. I should get some fairly soon. We have bots. This should be building, but everything goes into other places. Okay, I actually want to get a few drones going. I don't think I'm gonna need all of those circuits. So let's manually provide some. Copper overflowing again, I'm assuming. Why don't I have that line? Oh, it was in a totally different place than I was looking. That's why I do not have that line. Is that... that's the space attacking. The only thing we need to do when we get attacks from space is to cut off on power for a bit. I don't think that's gonna be too much of an inconvenience. 530, so we definitely recovered above the 420 we had last time. This gives me a few drones put in here. Not too many, but I think that should be enough. And I think I might reroute all of these extractors, to be honest. Yeah, let's do something over here, maybe. Over here? Yeah, I think over here. This looks like a very nice spot. Dead center. You're gonna supply oil. Oh, sure, I built a few refineries. Did I build extractors here? No, I built refineries when I wanted to build extractors. Oh, come on. For some reason, I always mix those things up. No matter how many times I try, no matter how much I play, I always mix these two buildings up. Doesn't make any sense as to why I'm mixing them up, but I am mixing them up. Now, over here, actually, I might have jumped the gun a bit. Oh wow, my frames were completely gone for a second there. Can I get a few more belts, please? I should have a small-ish stash over here. Let's get a bit of help because this is gonna take forever. Over here and that center. And yeah, I'll reroute the other ones as well. Oh, they're shooting for me. let the bots deal with that. So did this reverse the entire belt? Yes, it did. Let's reverse this again. Interesting. So with this one, no matter how long the belt is, it actually has a global impact. That one seems gone. There are still items on the belt. I didn't pick up any of them, fortunately. Don't know if it matters that much. There we go. We can fully clear out this belt. Okay, that answers my question if that one is functional. There is a question about how much it actually goes down. I need to keep an eye out on that, because at some point they will be able to, as they grow, they will be able to destroy, bring more numbers, destroy more. But there's gonna be a while until that, so let's mute that sound, because that's gonna drive me crazy otherwise. And let's go take care of copper again. Oh, copper by quite a bit of a margin. Now on this side I do not have the same buffer I've built over there, so maybe I'll just do something over here. That would have been nice, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that. We can still put a hat on those on these things. This will still on. There we go. If for any reason this starts working again, we'll feed from our buffer. Okay, how is this one looking? Am I low on power? No, but this one I forgot to actually power on. But that's annoying. This one's dead. And I believe that this is the last belt coming through over here. Quite a bit of cleanup, it wasn't just that one. Let's build a few more power poles. What's happening over here? Really, that one was just not connected? Sure. So that should take care of my oil shortage. And should unblock the... Should unblock the red science. Almost out of titanium there. Interesting. Almost out of copper. But that's gonna stay like that for a long time. Let's have a quick look at research. There's a very big question if I want to start prioritizing this one. It will be the next research. Or somewhat next research. I do need to buffer quite a few items, but how many do I have? I have 200 there, 200, almost 200 more here. I'm out of the particle broadbands. But you know what? I actually want to automate those. Why would I do that? So this one's a 3, this one is a... So this one's a 4, this one's a 3. Insufficient logibots, sure. That's for ILS, gas filter, and no bots in there, I said. That's good. I forgot to remove the filter. Well, I've done it now. And again, this is steel, titanium, processors, and particle containers. Why the shopping list? So it was steel, titanium, lots of processors, and particle containers. We can guess everything. We have bots for all of these chests, almost all of these chests. We're producing processors now, so we can afford some bots. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because these stacks are actually quite small. It's only 10 items per stack. Titanium bars and particle containers. Titanium, well, alloy, sure. I'll just call that titanium bars. So this should give us our ILSs, and eventually this will give us the orbital collectors. I don't know if I need that many orbital collectors, maybe even just like a handful, 10 would be enough. But in order to do that, we need a few more things. So we need to start crafting, and this is why I was calling them expendable pseudo resources. We need to start preparing and charging accumulators. I did research accumulators. I just had to make sure I did. I do not see them here though. And I do not see them. Do I see them here? So this is what we're gonna use to actually charge the accumulators. And we'll only need one of these for now. And if I steal some titanium bars from here, I might actually... Let's steal from here. I might actually be able to craft one. And that's the only one I need. Oh, there they are, accumulators over here. We have the resources, fortunately. So this is a 3 build. I'll leave this space open. Let's just do this one here. I kind of wanted to build inserters, but well, it's in the end it won't matter all that much. Everything will be automated, so we're just gonna do accumulators here. I need to be careful how many things I set at once. So was it iron plates, magnetic rings, and crystal silicon? Because if I oh, they're already working. Iron plates, magnetic rings, and crystal silicon. If I do too many things that require resources that I don't have plenty of, it's gonna put a big bottleneck on the whole system. And we are gonna have more and more power drain. Speaking of power drain, let's restart. How's the planetary shield? So it never went anywhere close to how far it went down the last time. And in the end, as long as we pump enough electricity, the defenses will hold. But well, this is where the tricky part comes into play. Pretty sure I did one of these things. So we have our exchanger. This can drain a lot of power when charging, which is one of the reasons why I want to do it over a very long period of time. Let's do input here. Let's do lack of item, my favorite part of the game. I'm not gonna set up logistics now. To be honest, I don't fully remember the stack size on the accumulators, so I'll be conservative for now. We should be able to have some inbound. This is gonna be full accumulators, gas filter. So this will divert some of the excess power into accumulators. And that kind of almost makes me want to expand my power grid. And I'm gonna do just that. Is this still not working at all? Okay, this is a 4. I'm actually gonna plot that down. This is a 3. Iron, gears, coils. Okay, that's fairly abundant materials, even from the farm. I think plates was the last one. Yep, plates was the last one. And we are storing wind turbines. Apparently we're gonna use wind turbines for a while longer. Does it actually say stack size anywhere? It would have been really nice to be able to see the stack size. It's maybe 100. It's definitely not 10. Really? Sure, let's quickly make one of them. It doesn't seem like these guys want to actually place another base. I'm just trying to see if I've missed anything. But I don't think I have. That's the new one. We have to here, we have the original 2. Or I think that these are the original 2, sorry. We had a new one here after we took everything out. This was the last one. And that's probably the extent of our base. I wouldn't mind getting that copper. Before they drop another base there. Now this is a bit tricky to farm. as I was saying, a bit tricky to farm. But if I'm not there, if I just... If I just put the robots, there might be a chance. That they would not be attacked. We'll see. How much do I have there? 26k. How much is one of these chests? I really hope I'm not gonna regret this. So this is 60 slots. $60 slots means 6,000. I have 25, so 4 chests are actually the exact amount of chests that I need. What's the power consumption here? It's 18k versus 70 something. Yeah, I'll definitely pick. It's 6 trips per second versus 1.5, so it's 25% or 1 to 4. That means the power ratio is actually the same. Maybe higher idle rate. But 3 of those are not enough. And this is enough. This should be enough to fully unload a belt. I leave a battlefield tower here. Might even leave auto pickup enabled. That should be protected, so I don't need to worry about that bit. Let's do power expansion. Okay, stack size is 50. I cannot change that now, so leave it to whatever it is. My bots are doing a decent job. I think I have something that still has just one lower tier belt in the collection center. I keep seeing a message that flickers over there. I don't think I've ever built this many wind turbines in my whole Dyson Sphere playthroughs. But, well, it is necessary when trying to save up on resources. Because, well, these things are basically free. Whereas power production, not so much. Not unless I'm willing to invest some very expensive resources. I could use the hydrogen to boost up my fuel production, my power production with fuel burning thingies, fuel burning power plants. I think my hydrogen chest was quite high. Hydrogen, when I say hydrogen, I mean hydrogen fuel cells. Yeah, 500, but yeah, I would burn through those almost instantly. These ones I only have a handful. I have a few more over here that are already proliferated, but I'll keep those for personal consumption, and yeah, these are very expensive to make. We will have power fairly soon, Dyson Sphere power. Oh, actually, that might not be the best phrasing. Okay, what's happening here? I see what's happening here. Here is happening me being completely out of coal. But at the same time, I have quite a bit of energetic graphite left. Energetic graphite is coming through here. Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to carry that from that far away. Really? I finished up all my chests. Is this one working? No. And it's not working because I didn't set up the recipe. Happens. So, get the graphite. Just, you know what? Go crazy. Just filter, get as many drones as you need. I'm very curious what, and I'm assuming that this will be input priority, so I want to actually have input priority from this chest. And I really do want to hold on to this coal for as long as I can. Not yet planned. How is that? Yes, this one still had some Did I finish up my iron here? I did. Well, it's good. It's good to utilize resources. The steel is not utilized, but that just means this one was working. This steel was being utilized, which is not great. I am low on iron. Yes, first order of business, before I forget again. Oh no, I do have this. I do have accumulators. It helps a lot if I actually set the inbound request. So this gives me a bit of extra power. But I need to do much more than that. The next immediate plan is, well, hopefully this research will start working again. The plan is to go do orbital collectors. And orbital collectors here will give me fire ice, which is very cool, and hydrogen in unlimited supplies. We will import those over here. With fire ice we're gonna do oxygen to begin with, but also carbon. And with carbon and titanium we'll be able to do nanotubes. Nanotubes will be able to make crystal particle broadbands to progress our research further. And carbon is widely used in a lot of places. I won't need this setup anymore, or at least this part of the setup, which is the part that's actually draining coal. Does plastic have an alt recipe? Plastic doesn't have an alt recipe, unfortunately. We could look at burning fuel. Fuel is technically an unlimited resource, and that's gonna give us energetic graphite as well. But for now, let's continue on the quest to get more power. I need to have a bit of a buffer as well, because as I'm expanding the base, obviously power demand is gonna go up. And and right now I'm not utilizing this space for anything, so might as well. That would have been too nice. Let's do a bit of resource burying here. There will be some more fighting in the near future. Actually, scratch that, maybe not in the so near future, but there will be some more fighting at some point. Let's continue over here. We will have to take out the interstellar bases. We will have to expand. Right with object. Where? Okay. Go. Lack of item. Let's see if I can get some more. And I'm aware that this is more or less indirectly draining my remaining iron reserves. We do have a lot of iron on the other planet though, so I'm not that stressed about it. Since I'm here, let's get that one working again. We should have full iron collection planned for this planet. Copper 7k, not 6k, not planned. Where? Did I miss anything here? Not unless it's buried. I don't see any other copper icons though, which means that I must have a node or two nodes buried there somewhere. It is what it is. Let's continue expanding. That's gonna be it for now. 340, almost 350 megawatts. It does make a bit minuscule, but it does make a dent. So these hives are basically now completely dead. I find very interesting. I think that this was this behavior was altered at some point. They now have substantially more more persistent resource drain and matter generation. This should bump up when it is in fight mode. You've seen it jump just for less than a second to 80, which is the normal production rate. This is the production rate to sustain fight, which is good. Energy doesn't really matter. The base is fully formed as far as I'm aware. I would really wish there would be a way to intercept and prevent them from actually shipping away matter. Am I flying in a completely random direction? Oh, no. I'm gonna get to my base fairly soon. And we are getting on the next attack. Let's see, what do we have new things in here? Oh, this is almost full. So we need to do a neural synco something. Negentropy singularity. Sure, whatever. Let's filter on that one over here. And also unipolar magnets. I'll do it on this side because this is a resource I want to stockpile, and it's substantially easier to stockpile if I have a place here to put big chests. This should mean that I do not have any resources in here. Let's have a quick look at the Dark Fog farm. I guess I can re-enable these ones, maybe just for now, but should be safe to re-enable. Get a slightly better resource stock. I do not want to waste iron, for let's say obvious reasons. This is a feedback loop, but if there's not enough usage, this will stabilize. Until then, I'll just leave it to this. Take a quick look at the power profile. Okay, this is... I would be delivering those things over here. No, I wouldn't just yet. I am a bit confused. Does this mean that the planetary shield takes precedence over over the accumulator? It has, like, it says actual power 120 watts, rated power 54 megawatts. Okay, that means it doesn't have power to charge, and that's probably like that because I need to be very careful not to destroy the core driller. That is probably like that because the shield takes precedence. And at this rate, I actually don't know how fast that's gonna actually charge. Now, I could look at expanding with solar panels. But no, they actually don't make any sense. They cost way more resources than a wind turbine. The power generation is just a bit more, but they only work for half the time, so the power generation is actually 180 versus 300. I guess that means more wind turbines. How blind can I be? I mean, one would have thought I would have seen that there's no intake there. Anyway, I've seen it now. We now should finally have research going again. Let's increase our power consumption because we need to actually get enough power production to charge up our shields, our planetary shields, to eventually be able to start charging accumulators. Nope, it doesn't go there, unfortunately. Would I rotate this. I think if I go and place this one like this. Yeah, no difference. Well, in the end, it's just one wind turbine. Just leave it like this, I guess. I could probably take a substantially more aggressive development path, to be honest. Just expand energy, expand production, start mining more resources. And part of the reason why I'm not building over in this area is because at some point I will start properly setting up resource extraction. We do have 2 planets that we kind of fully own. We don't have lots of silicon ore, but we do have some decent iron ore, copper, titanium reserves. Silicon is gonna be a big bottleneck. There's not that much stone either to say that we can make silicon out of stone. That's basically 70k plus this, which is 450, and this is a huge drain on the tech tree. But I feel like the start of the series was quite intense. I want to make a bit of progress, get ahead of the curve while we're in a pretty peaceful place. There's no imminent threat. These attacks will not have that much of an impact for a long while. Is anybody building those? I guess I'll leave them to be built later on. Shield at 509. So we are increasing attack over attack. Probably should have checked this, but yeah, that's not good. No. Whatever. The copper is gonna go into the end chest. Yes. I definitely have enough of those things. I don't need any more. Stop the power production. Where are we? We've added 50 more megawatts. So the planetary shield is now draining half of my power production. I think we're yet to charge even one of those. This doesn't have any sort of power. But I'm hoping that in 1 or 2... Actually... is there a way to control how much power goes into this? or to prevent it from fully charging. Gonna guess not. Yeah, looks like not. We'll just have to fully charge it. Just weathered another attack. The attacks are gonna get more and more intense, so the attacks are gonna get more and more intense. And with that in mind, I'm just curious to see how much of a difference will this make. Why that one in particular? Yeah, just temporary, but this should bring another 200 megawatts. How much do we get per station? 18. Maybe just 100 megawatts, but still a decent amount of power boost. Which means that the planetary shield will be able to charge faster and hopefully get us to that state where we can start charging. Oh, hello. Thank you very much. We'll take that. This actually calls for a save. Not to mess this one up. We do like more free power. Will they attack here? I don't think they'll attack. And it's actually... it's really annoying. If they attacked once, that means that there's a big chance that they'll attack again. I will use these later on. I'll set up this these power poles like this, and then where's the border? Really, it doesn't go on the border. Something feels off here. guess no. I guess this is how it's meant to be. Why do I get collides with object? So what I'm gonna do is I'll do a similar to laser turret. Two power poles. One station. That's not gonna be able to auto collect. And I guess that one. I'm wondering if this will have any sort of negative impact on my farm. I'll just let this one collect. I don't want to get all that mess into my inventory. But to that regard, this is probably quite full. What are those things? Didn't I turn off? Oh, they're probably still have things left to unload. So if I do this, I'll need to unload this battlefield because it is collecting resources and it is bringing quite a bit of attention to itself. I'll do a yellow belt. I don't think I need to do more. Did I catch up with belt? Yes. Oh, nice. Here. It should be functional. I should have a net gain in power. We might even be able to charge on this cycle, which would be quite nice. Let's do this, and this is gonna connect. Let's actually unload. Cool. There we go. The bots are gonna help build that side. I'm gonna build from this side, so this way I don't actually lose any cargo. Regular belt should be more than enough over here. We are getting a few more megawatts of power. This might get destroyed eventually. The good side is that all of this is actually protected. Most of this is protected. I need to bring the power rail from above here. But most of this is actually protected, which is really great. This is not protected. Oh. How come this didn't get destroyed? So I need to move this belt over in the protected area. I need to finish mining this and move the resources over. But I think that that's gonna be it for today. We made a bit of progress. We do have orbital collectors. Ring ILS and the big thrusters. Rings. And obviously accumulators, which we do not have. Well, full accumulators, that is. And ILSs. Do we have ILSs? We do. Limit of 10, which is really great. This is gonna be a limit of 10 as well. Yeah, this is definitely charging. I need to remember to actually kill this once we have fully charged. Oh. There is actually enough power, very low, but enough power for this to charge, so it must be a percentage ratio, I guess. But anyway, I'm gonna call it a day for today. Let's save this. I think it's good enough. Thank you all very much for watching and hope to see you here next time.